Now, after that wonderful message, we come to the part where we get to share about what we've heard. The Torah is life. The Torah is to teach us how to live. And it's important that we read it each week because there's so many things in it that we think are there but are not, or vice versa. And this week's portion, Bo, deals with the last three plagues, all, as the Rabbi say, plagues of darkness, beginning with the locusts covering the land so dark that nobody could see, then the choshech, which is like a darkness for 3 days that you literally could not move in front of you. It's a real deep spiritual darkness. And I love how, Mauricio, you began with the idea of how long will you refuse to humble yourself before me, and I saw the same thing when I was reading it. This is the first time I realized that we have a choice in humbling ourselves. If we have a true relationship with our Creator, and we ask God, like our Rabbi always taught us, to really ask Him, the way it says in Psalm 139, search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. See if there's anything within me that I need to change. That takes courage, and it takes a step of humility. And if we don't take that step of humility, let me tell you, it's going to be taken for us. And that's the whole idea behind the hardening of Pharaoh's heart. Because people say, if God hardened his heart, he had no choice. But that absolutely is not true, because he did have a choice, and we all have a choice. But as you said, Mauricio, he had become so arrogant, so filled with himself, because everybody acknowledged that he was a god. He had to go down to the water early in the morning so nobody could even see him relieve himself. Imagine how and that was one of the things that Rabbi always taught us, be yourself. When he would lose his temper, he would always admit it. I know this is part of who I am. I'm dealing with it. And I need to just ask God to help me. And over the years, and after a lot of suffering, let me tell you, with his temper, his temper was a lot better. So we have to go before God with the things that we need help with, but it's up to us to take that first step. Like taking the first step. I think it was when, I don't know if it was Moses who was told to take the first step, or Joshua, when he had to step into the Jordan. Remember that he also had to step into the water. Take that first step and watch how God will be with you all the way, not to be afraid. So it was a beautiful message. Thank you so much. Do we have any comments on this message today from anyone?
Thank you, Mauricio, for the message. Very good message. One thing I was just thinking as you read it, about how long it takes us to humble ourselves. But when you think of that, the first process is having been touched with God, and really it says to me that all humanity has been touched by God. Remember when Shaul said, nobody could deny, that everyone has been touched by God. There's no excuse. Remember when all the creation groans, like there's no excuse. So even a serial killer at some point has been touched by God, even, heaven forbid, but Hitler himself. And after that is where free will comes in. You can only humble yourself if you've been touched by God at some point in your life. And it just sort of hit me. I mean, otherwise there's no free will. And how could we say that, Hitler doesn't have God in him? He's a human being and he does, and there's no excuse, even for somebody as horrendous as Hitler or Nebuchadnezzar or whatever. And I find that really amazing. There is no excuse. Remember when Shaul said that? There is no excuse, all creation groans, like the whole, it's really amazing. And something I remember you said, Peggy, I think at the Wednesday group, when you were saying that God, where does it say God withheld some of his power?
Yeah, it was the idea here is that God had to withhold his power in order for us to exercise our free will.
No, right.
In
But
the
is
New
that
Testament, it talks about how Jesus withheld, like, how was it, Mauricio? He
empty himself?
he emptied himself. It's not Jesus who did that. It was God.
No,
And it wasn't
right.
about emptying himself. You have to hold back. It's like, I know what you're saying.
No, I guess what I'm saying is,
Mauricio, I can't hear you.
I know that from the New Testament where Shaul was talking about when Yeshua is talking about Yeshua.
Yeah, you have to distinguish. At first, I thought you were talking about King Shaul. You have to distinguish between Rab
the
Shaul.
Rav Shaul,
Yeah,
Paul.
Rabbi Shaul, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess I wanted to know: is there a place like when Yeshua, a lot of things he said are references from the Torah.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if there was some sort of line, or not just line. I know place where he got that. Even the emptying himself. I know it really makes me understand free will more. When people say the common argument is, how can you blame us if God created us and could do everything? Why didn't he take Israel out of Egypt, just snap his fingers? And it's totally for free will. It's amazing. I love that.
Yes.
I have always think about this thought of the rabbis that says that that God hardened his heart, meaning that he lost his free will, because it is in our nature. I mean, we decide not to act, but the free will is always there, right? Not that, oh, it's a miracle that God just denied him his free will, okay? Because Pharaoh had the free will. That's why God asked him, when until when you will harden your heart, right? You will not humble yourself before me. So it's very important, because um, the point is, when you are in a level that the people says, oh, it's impossible that I change, for example. Oh, it's impossible that this happened to me. It's impossible that I can do this or that. Then you are not exercising your free will, right? You are hardening your heart without knowing, like Paro. And this is like deceiving ourselves, that um, that we start to hear our own voice. I cannot change. I cannot. God will not hear me. Okay. So we need, because we are looking ourselves. We are looking too much about our ego, about, oh, how bad I am, or the mess I did. But the point is, yes, I can see myself in a different way. I can see God making another person for me, making uh, changing my behavior, my conduct. So um, I think Pharaoh, if he will uh, searched inside his heart and said, "Oh God, forgive me, honestly, forgive me." God will hear. For example, we hear, remember the Nineveh? I don't know if in English you say Nineveh, but
Nineveh, yeah.
uh, uh, Jonas was sent to these people, and these people had already a judgment from God. I will destroy them. And it's the same. God here make a judgment. I mean, to Pharaoh, I will take you out from Egypt with mighty uh, uh, deeds, and now it's the same with Nineveh. God is sending to his messenger, which is Jonah, to these people, and then these people made something different that Pharaoh did not. They hear the voice of the Creator, and when they hear the voice of the Creator, they humble themselves because it says that they cover themselves with ash, and then they humble and they repentance and they make teshuvah, they return to the Creator, and all these nations change it. The problem is now that the messenger he wanted to see something different, right? But but the point is um, that even when there is a judgment, a determination from God, it doesn't mean that that will that cannot be changed because God have more love. And people sometimes turn to think, oh, God already said that I will die, for example. I know, because of this disease, for example. Uh, and God says, no, you won't. For example, like the King Asa, right? God gave him 20 years more. Or, for example, uh, and we can see different examples from the whole Bible. The guy changed his his determination, his because his love is more than his rule. And in Paro, the point is that he didn't want to change. Yes, he just have like how do you say that, unity, a spark of of to know who is God. Yes, I already know who is God, but I don't want to have any relationship with him.
No, because then he has to be responsible for his behavior.
Yes, and he didn't want to show that there is another God that is higher than he.
Exactly.
So, uh, because he's too humble before the God of the slavery. So, how can Pharaoh follow this God of the slavery? So the point is much deeper, but so he didn't want really at the beginning. The question is, who is this guy? I don't care. And then, oh, please go serve your God, please. You know, it's another attitude. He already recognized his God, but he didn't want to humble himself. He didn't want to hear the voice.
Right.
And this, the secret of to be humble. When you are humble, you hear the voice of the Creator. And and that is the difference between, and that's why also a lot of people um, reach the mercy of God in this passage, because in Pesach, not only Hebrews were saved, also there were a lot of Egyptians, okay, the ones who followed, that they put on the doorpost that the blood, and participate in this uh, commemoration of freedom. In but the secret is to obey, to humble, and all the whole picture is really nice because when you see the element of Pesach, it's simple, it's obedience, it's maror, is to say, oh no, I made a mess. So I'm sorry, I feel bad because I recognize what I did and I don't want I don't want that behavior more. And then we need unleavened bread, which is no more, proud, and so it's humble. And the point is it, and when you compare this with Pharaoh, it's completely the opposite. He didn't obey, so he lost his family, his son, right? Then he never humbled himself. He recognized God is not meaning I'm humble before him. And then he he never said, "Oh no, I repent that I have been a dictator and make slavery of all those people." No, so that is something that you don't see. There is only another kind of kings that they recognize God, but 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 also there were not any change for them. For example, Nabucodonosor, this king, uh, this Babylon king, he
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nabucodonosor,
Yeah, it's a little hard to hear you today. I don't know what's happening with the sound. I find that it's like speaking through an echo chamber or
it's just that I changed because my computer is right now at the office. They are
okay.
doing some fixing, so I'm connected by a table.
A tablet. Okay. Yeah, there's a difference with the
Yeah.
sound. Okay. I hope everyone can hear you.
So in at the end, just to finish, the idea is to recognize God doesn't mean to be humble before Him because, for example, this king that is related in Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar, this king, he knew he became a beast. Okay, he was really a beast.
Yes. Yeah. His nails grew long. He became a beast. Yeah, exactly.
And then he realized eating. I don't know what he ate, and then he suddenly experienced of what I'm doing as the king of the kings, and now I'm king. But this is just to show that there was a God over him, but he never changed his mentality. He
No.
only recognized that there were a higher God than he or the gods. It's like to have a one more powerful ruling all different gods, I would say. But for him, it was another God.
Oh, really?
Then,
He didn't change in the end?
no, he
Okay.
lost kingdom.
Right.
He just recognized, oh, Daniel, yes, you have a very powerful God. Your God is very strong and is
Right.
almighty, and I know he's the God of the gods, but he's
But he's
not the
still one
only.
of the gods.
Yeah, he's one more. He's
Yeah.
like that powerful. So he's like a superhero with a lot of powers, but it's not all the whole God that exists, the only one.
Yes.
So so yes, he recognized because what happened to him,
Yeah.
but he didn't change.
No.
Okay?
And
It's
I
just
like,
that, yeah, because and that's the point. So sometimes we can confuse ourselves about what is humble ourselves.
Right. It's like what you said about crocodile tears, about being a hypocrite. It's like sometimes when you get caught doing something wrong. By the way, if you have earphones, maybe it would make it better. I don't know if you have earphones for your, it may improve the sound. But it's like when you get caught doing something wrong and you go, oh, I'm really sorry. Are you sorry that you did it, or you're sorry that you got caught? You know, there's a difference in the intentions of our heart, and God knows you can't fool him. So a lot of meat in this portion. I'm just quickly looking through your notes here to see if there was anything more. I mean, there's so many points that you gave. And I really encourage people to listen again, listen to the message, read it, think about it. Don't just, let's not be lazy about the Torah. Let's not be lazy about these things, because our lives do change when we take these things to heart. And it's not because we're great, but because God is great. And he sees that willingness to grow and to learn. And he blesses us in ways that we can't even begin to put words to. You started with the idea that, especially because America is the latest empire. It was Egypt. After Egypt was Babylon. After Babylon was Persia. And then the Medes. And then you get the Romans and the Greeks. And all through history, you have one empire after another who is trying to become the gods of this world. Right now, I've been listening to some of these people today who are multi-billionaires, not even millionaires, like this guy Elon Musk. He doesn't believe in God. He believes that this planet we're going to destroy ourselves, and he wants to set up a commune up on Mars. That's why he's doing all these things. People like him are just the latest, pharaohs, but he doesn't look evil. As a matter of fact, when you see him, he's like a very innocent guy. He's got Asperger's. He's brilliant. And then I said, he just doesn't see. He can't see. And you have other, leaders who are trying to take over again. The empire of America is slowly falling. And people are talking about like, oh, if America falls, the world is lost. That's what I heard them say. Well, no, because the next empire that has to arise is Israel, is God's empire, unless God has something else in mind. I don't know. I don't know when the end times are going to be, but all I know is until that comes, we are still living under a regime that doesn't want us to be free. It wants to control our thoughts. It wants to control our lives in absolutely every area of our lives. And the more control comes upon us, the more something inside me just smiles, because I go, wow, God's plan is really at work. And all I just pray is that I can be hidden in Goshen, where God is going to protect me and protect us who belong to him, like getting on Noah's Ark. We need to be on the Ark. We need to be in Goshen. We need to be obedient, like at Pesach. What I loved that, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to the video I sent you, Mauricio, but because it talks about the word Pesach comes from the root, another word in Leviticus for lame or not being able to move. A person who is lame cannot move. So God is immobile. Faseach. He stood before the door and he protected that house from the destroyer going in, who he sent to take the lives. Nobody can take a life without him allowing it. So when we see people being murdered and killed, no one can take a life without God's allowing it. And it's because there are too many people who are totally unwilling to humble themselves, to acknowledge that there's a God, that there's a creator, and they prefer to either be controlled or to control. And we need to be a remnant. This little community, we're very small in number, but I believe we're very special. We have a very special calling. Each of us have been placed within a community where we have, where we can speak to people about what the Torah. Sometimes we'll be mocked. And let me tell you, I am mocked plenty. Who are you to tell me that? What a stupid thing to say. You know, they just can't see what we can see when we are immersed in the teachings of the Torah, because it gives us wisdom. So thank you again, Mauricio, for this wonderful message. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm grateful for all of us who faithfully come on every week and listen, and those who are not here today who listen online, and help us to spread this message of this remnant, of this very small group. Share our videos with friends, with relatives, even if they yell at you, even they say, don't send me that, send it anyway. You know, sometimes I hold back myself because I don't want to get people upset. But one day they're going to see, and we have been given the privilege of seeing it today. So I want to thank you, everybody. I want to wish everyone a Shabbat Shalom. Have the rest of a wonderful day. Read the Torah, appropriate it into our lives. Go back and read some of the older messages, and continue to grow and to learn. And thank you again, and we'll see you, God willing. Well, for those who speak Spanish, we have the Tuesday nights. Maybe Mauricio, you can talk a little bit, just for those who are not here with us now, a little bit about your message on Tuesday nights. Tell us what you do.
Okay. En español, los martes tenemos un grupo, una tertulia, un momento donde compartimos las enseñanzas de la Torá de una manera práctica. Eso es lo que hacemos, y están todos bienvenidos, invitados para asistir.
And on Wednesday night, I do a very simple reading. We read the Torah. And I know enough Hebrew to be able to show some things. I'm certainly not a scholar, and there are plenty of scholars we can refer to out there. But when we read it together, our eyes are more opened. So that's on Wednesday night at 8:00 in the evening, Eastern Standard. So I invite you to come. If you speak Spanish, come on Tuesday nights. And that's it. Continue learning, continue growing, and continue to be a blessing to all those around us. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.